at 7 o'clock, right? Two after. Okay, I'd like to call to order the Groveland Township regular board meeting for, today is August the 12th. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Okay. Laura?
Robert DePalma.
I'm here.
Janelle Keller. Here. Teresa Bills. Here. Jim Christopher.
Here.
Gina Mazzarelli. Here.
Full house today. All right, everybody received a copy of today's agenda for the meeting here, and if so, are there any questions or comments or changes anybody wants to make to it? It looked okay to me. If there's no comments, a motion would be in order to approve it as submitted.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda as submitted for August 12th.
Support.
The other, July, August.
Today's agenda. I support
Okay,
that
you
one.
support, okay, any other questions or comments from the board? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, okay, it's approved. Next item is to approve the minutes from the July 8th, 24 meeting. There's Township and Fire Board minutes. Again, they looked okay to me.
Laura, the only thing I see, and this is super minor, it just says June in the upper left. And not July. But I know exactly how you did that,
In the
because I've
red,
done it
yeah.
a million times.
I have some contracts you could proofread for me.
No.
Okay, if there's no other changes, motion would be in order to approve as indicated with the one change.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any other questions or comments from the board? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's approved. Thank you, everybody. Okay, now we move to the financials.
Fireboard.
Oh, I'm sorry, the fire board, yeah, I forgot the second set of minutes. Thank you. Okay, the fire board minutes. That one also needs a July date, yes, yeah. Okay.
July.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments on them? If not,
I'll make a motion that we approve the regular fire board meeting of July 8th with the change to the date.
okay, is there a second to that?
I'll
Sure.
second.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the board? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, now it's all minutes are approved. Now we'll move to the financials and budget amendments, and I think, Janelle, we didn't have any for this month, right?
No, I'm not gonna do any amendments this month. Everything should look, pretty status quo. The big payment that you'll see, and this came out of two different accounts, so you'll have seen that this came out of, our 101, and then we had the other half come out of, where did we take that out of, 401?
Second payment on the building.
401 out of the ARPA funds, and it was the second payment for the fire department. So that's a pretty hefty penny there, so you're gonna see that that's gonna be the major change. And this one's account payables and revenue and expense report. Other than that, I don't think that there was anything really out of the ordinary. If you have any questions, certainly let me know. We were at, I'll get my tab here. Total for 101, our general fund was $212,672.38. For 401, which again were those ARPA funds, that's where we held a lot of our funds.
Technically, the ARPA funds were moved over to the general, so we wrote the check out of general. The 401 is the infrastructure, which the rest of the payments for the station are all coming out of 401. So we depleted the ARPA funds first.
That's right.
Yeah,
And then
So-
paid the rest out of 101.
correct.
So, that one in 401 was 136,272.26. The total for fire one was $16,884.72, which seems like nothing this month compared to ours. And then for 701, this was a reimbursement to DNR. Teresa could probably tell you a little bit more about that. If you have questions, that is for $130. So those were overall, our accounts payables and revenue and expense report. If you have no questions, then I want to motion that we approve them as
I
sorry.
have the same question. The zoning appeals still can't figure out where you're paying us because it's not in the zoning appeals line item. And I thought that Ken was gonna fix that when he came in a couple months ago.
He still hasn't, they haven't finished anything.
They haven't
yet.
finished, okay.
Yes.
All right,
So,
Do we have a date yet when he's coming in for the audit?
well, they've already been in, so they came in for the audit, they are waiting on OPEB to finish up, and they are not done yet.
Did he come in last week?
Okay,
Ken, yeah.
No.
No,
once
he
in a-
wasn't here last week.
Yeah.
I just don't remember.
yeah, it's been a while, they're just waiting on that OPEB report,
Okay, that should be a problem.
yeah,
And I saw that, so.
yeah.
Okay, well, there are no other questions or comments on the accounts payable. You made a motion for approval,
Yep.
Janelle, is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Regina? Okay, any other questions or comments from the board? If not, would you take a roll call on it, please, Laura?
Janelle Keller.
Yes.
Teresa Bills.
Yes.
Jim Christopher.
Yes.
Gina Mazzarelli.
Yes.
Robert DuPont.
Yes. Okay. Covered financial reports for the
Just your
Investment report.
investment reports now, okay. Teresa?
Sure, so, what was I gonna note here? Just that the ARPA funds, as you can see, have gone down from 137,000 something to $276. That actually was just leftover interest that was in the Chase Bank account, and I'm just gonna transfer that over to general, and, because that would just be general interest then. And the rest of that was used for the second installment for Station 1 MSP post.
Okay,
I think that's.
that's
pretty
actually
much
an
really
excellent
clear.
balance, considering we paid for half the building.
Mhm.
Very good. And, I know we got a message today that I sent you that the state's gonna start providing us some extra revenue projection information that they weren't doing before, so it'd be kinda interesting to see when those get
Yes.
substantiated, if we're actually getting much at all out of the statutory.
Correct,
Because it's
yes.
usually pretty small.
Yeah, I was gonna drill down into that one, but I didn't have a chance to today.
Well, I think, it's just the memo today that came in that email, I said, it just said that they're going to be providing reports for it, I wanted to make
Okay.
sure they have secondary names, so I thought it should be used.
Yeah,
Okay.
All right.
Tell us about the DNR thing?
so
What?
the $130?
Yeah.
So DNR, it was for fire inspections, they were billed out, there were 2 separate invoices for fire inspections, and they were just billed to them, and what they did was, they combined the 2 and paid like $325, and then a week later, they paid another $130, and we couldn't figure out what was it for, so ultimately, they just sort of double paid, and so we just had to reimburse them.
Okay. Okay, thank you for the investment reports, looking great. Presentations, so Jim, do you wanna do the,
Yeah,
honors on
let me
this?
start. So everybody, we've been dancing back and forth here with security systems and with my off-the-wall sense of humor getting into the 90s and some of this stuff. And I have a business relationship with a company called Sonatrol. And I asked them to come in and present so it didn't fall on my shoulders to describe what is proposed. So having said that, I have Maura and Jake from Sonatrol, and they would like to go over the proposal with the board here.
Hi, everyone. Thank you everyone for attending. We appreciate it. My name is Maura Galligan. As Jim just said, I'm with Sonatrol. What I'd like to do is give you just a brief overview of the company so you can understand who we are and what we bring to the table. There's lots of security companies out there, but they don't do what we do when it comes to safety and access to your buildings. So Sonatrol Great Lakes is a part of a nationwide company. We are family-owned business here locally. We've been around for 60 years, and we are very customer-focused. So we don't just sell systems, we sell solutions based on what's best for your needs and what you really are going to use. Some people will go in and they'll say, well, we want cameras everywhere. Well, do you really, or do you need specific ones to attain what you're trying to do for that particular aspect of it? We also have a on-site 24-hour call center, which we require our personnel to answer the phone with under 10 seconds. Yes, they have a clock up on a big board when the phone rings. A lot of other companies, what they'll do is they'll send that to a third party somewhere else. Could be here, could be in the state, could be overseas. So you know you are dealing with somebody in our business. I can walk down the hall and talk to them and ask, hey, what happened over at town hall the other night? And they'll give us a full rundown. We also take care of our own service fleet, our own vans, to make sure that we're able to service you in a timely and an efficient manner. And we put all of our services in writing, so you know what you're going to get, when you're going to get, so there's no issue with that. Sonitrol as a whole is a nationwide company, and we have just under 190,000 apprehensions. That's what we look at as being important, because it's one thing if you have a break-in and a theft, but we want to make sure we are catching the people that are doing the things we don't want them to do to deter them from doing it again. Again, how we feel, who we are, is that we are very committed in making sure that we get you the proper solution for what you need. We are client focused, we are relationship focused, and not just a system. We understand that one size does not fit all, and that's why we come out, talk to you, make sure you understand, we understand what you're doing. Then we send that over to our design team with Jake, and then he asks a lot of questions to make sure he understands what the needs are and designs an actual plan that will work for your particular building. We do support our communities. We've also donated money to make sure that we have we've raised money for over 25 canines. We're in a lot of municipalities, government buildings, Leo's fire stations, because we do access and fire, but we're not talking about fire today. So we support you, because you support us. Some of our accomplishments specifically, there's a third-party media company magazine called SDM, and that ranks all of the security companies nationwide. And in 2024 alone, we ranked 43rd overall, and that's all demographics. We're talking New York City, Chicago, LA. We also came in 33rd for commercial sales and install revenue, as well as 49th overall in total revenue.
Is that out of a base of 100 or?
Out of 100, correct. Top 100 in the country as a whole.
Oh, okay. There's
And
more
we-
than 100, but it's the
There's
top.
more than, yes, there's definitely more than 100 security companies out there. One of the key metrics that we work on is we want to make sure we're not elevating ourselves just locally, but we're elevating ourselves nationally. And we are heavily involved in understanding what's going on in the nation as a whole, so we can elevate our game as well. There's also a national association called TMA that presents 5 diamond monitoring, and there's certain metrics, don't ask me the exact metrics, but we have been consistently on that list because of our response time, the types of calls that we're going out to, and making sure we're engaging the right people at the right time, and it specifically not a false alarm. So again, we are a full service provider. We provide installation, service, and monitoring with a customized solution with intrusion, access control, video surveillance, fire, and network protection. Our on-site monitoring is right down the street, and it is manned 24 hours a day. And law enforcement and Leo's trust us implicitly because, specifically with municipalities, there's a lot of municipalities are requiring regulations to make sure it's a verified intrusion before they send out any type of police, because as we know, it's expensive to send somebody out, and they have other things to be doing, so we make sure when we are monitoring with the cameras as well as sound and audio that we know it's a 2-step verification that somebody actually did break into the building and access where they were not supposed to. Some of our metrics, 182,000+ apprehensions to date, 35% came in through the door, 26 came in through the window, 25% are 14% never gained entry, and 39% of those apprehensions would not have happened. They didn't have some type of an alarm system. Verified audio intrusions. This is sound-based, not motion-based, so would you like to speak to
Yeah,
this a little bit more?
I'm more on the nerd side of it,
Yes.
so bear with me over today here.
I'm
So,
just here for the Vanna portion of it.
so Sonatrol has a proprietary system for audio verification. What that lets us do is whether it's an impact or somebody speaking. So if I was breaking into this building and somebody would say, "Hey Jake, go grab that computer." In our central station, we're actually hearing, "Hey Jake, go grab that computer." We're recording all that, we're live streaming it, and then we can send that directly to the police to verify that alarm. So if we get a door open plus an audio intrusion, then we've already verified that alarm. You also notice up in the corner there, we have our multi-sensor. That is something that we currently use too. That's doing audio and motion detection. So if the alarm was to go off, we can hear immediately into the building and then describe that to the police as well.
So, just so I understand you correctly, if an alarm sensor said there was motion in the building, and it was your system, and it told you, before you would call me or chief or Teresa or one of us up here, you would actually listen into the building to see if there was some indication that it was there.
Yep,
So
exactly.
I
And
assume this would eliminate, I'm asking that for a specific question, so bear with me. We have a propensity for periodically getting a field mouse in here, okay? Who has woke me up numerous times that night, okay? To the point where I don't even come in anymore because I know what it is. It's, activity someplace from a motion sensor, but there's actually no indication of a door being broken or a window or anything. So
Correct.
you would be, if I understand you correctly, eliminating that before you ever called somebody to dispatch either me or the police or somebody, that there actually was something other than just a motion sensor from a, field mouse that happened to get in the basement.
Yep, it's exactly that. So we're assessing the scenario as it's happening, and the whole thing is based around integration. So from a video side of it, if you also have cameras, they all integrate together. So if we have a camera towards the lobby front door and an audio goes off in the lobby, that camera pops up in our central station. So we're hearing, we're seeing, a mouse runs across, we can disregard the alarm, or if you want, we can reach out and let you know, hey, we do see it's just a mouse in the building, we wanna let you know your alarm system's going off, we're gonna reset that
And
for
to
you.
get-
Trust me, at
And then
2 in the
go
morning,
from
I
there.
don't need to know that.
That's
Yeah.
understandable.
Okay?
But yeah, it's all about verifying the alarm.
We gave the mouse clearance to be here.
Yeah, I know. I
Somebody
knew
there
somebody
is
was
speaking
behind
that,
it,
it's
chief.
the cinnamon toast bread, that's what it is. Any other questions specific to that?
What if it's the middle of the night, do you have lights that'll come up?
So our cameras are equipped with infrared, but also audio doesn't need light, so we can judge it just based off of the audio.
If you put a system in here, would all of the monitoring cameras that are in the building then be infrared?
Yes, the ones that we do,
Okay.
yes, they
Sorry.
are.
Can I just clarify your question, you were asking about light, is it because you would want a light to go on for kind of a deterrent, or so that we could see better? Is that what you're, why you were asking?
Either or.
Okay.
I mean,
With the infrared, the central station can see
okay.
what they need. Correct me if I'm wrong,
Okay.
one of the good things about not putting on a light is now you're not scaring them away. They have a false sense of security,
Sure.
right, so we can get the police here and apprehend them.
No, it's okay. I just wondered if all the cameras were infrared capable, because this system I have at home is like that. It's low light, it still works pretty darn good.
So the scenario we're talking about right now, though, also is intrusion and access focus. So that's another benefit to it. So you're not having to physically enter the building, go to the keypad, disarm the system. You can do it that way if you choose to, but we can also set it up so that users that are allowed to disarm the alarm system during that time frame, as soon as they badge outside to unlock the door, it's also disarming the alarm system, so you're able to just walk right in, and it takes care of all that for you. It's one less step having to go to the keypad. It's nice, especially if you got new staff coming in, you can already have their key fob set up, you're not gonna try to train them on how to disarm with the keypad, it's all ready to go for them.
This is just a sample of how we'll know what area there was some type of access to and be able to see via the cameras, where in a traditional alarm sensor, it might only be here. If they access here, they have time to kind of meander around before anyone is aware of it.
Do you do that same thing on the Sun Patrol units that we have now for these panic buttons we've got for the gals at the counter, and I think there's maybe one over
Yeah, so I was gonna bring that up too. So as soon as a button is pressed, it's immediately streaming audio and video to our central station, so we can provide that to the police and also assess the situation.
Sorry, it's not working here. There we go. Nope. Alright, so we went up, did we go over everything? Yep. In terms of what it comes with, we have lifetime support, lifetime, technician assistance. They also, central, station will get a ping to know if there's any issues with the camera, so we can let you know prior to, so we can get a technician out here, so you won't have downtime. If there is something where they can't fix it on site, they will replace it, so that you don't have any downtime, in terms of, any issues like that. Annually preventative maintenance, you can also get a phone app, so if you wanna dial in, you take a look at some cameras, so maybe you're thinking about the field mouse and you just wanna check, seeing if it's having Thanksgiving dinner or
I
something.
have that on your system.
Yes.
But I admit I have used it so infrequently, I forgot how to get in.
We can get you.
Then when you get up
reset.
at 2 in the morning, you're not really coherent to fumble with it anyway.
Fair enough. Fair enough. No, we don't need to listen to that. Managed access control, Jake did talk about this, a little bit. You can know for safety who's in your building, at what time, when they leave, where they access. You can also limit control of access to certain people to certain areas. So if you have a server room and you just want IT people to go in there, you can give only them access to get into that area specifically, and everyone else doesn't need to have any access to that.
Yeah, that in addition, the beauty of access control, other than the records keeping, is that you're not making 50 keys to your building. You have actual cards that you're assigning into the system. It allows it when new staff comes in, someone can log in, type their name, what the number is on the card, and it's ready to go. You're not having to go get another key cut. And then when they leave, what happens with that key? Do they give it back or not? Now you can just log in, deactivate the card, and they can no longer enter the building. So it's immediate changes to your system.
So they can have it as a party gift, but they can't use it after they leave, right?
Yes.
Kinda like a hotel key drag home that you never use.
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to eliminate false alarms in sending out the police, lifetime protection, satisfaction. Also records of who's disarming, arming, you'll be able to access that. Any other key points that you want to?
No, it's just you have access to all this information immediately. You can just log in, pull a report right away. If something just happened, you can find out exactly who was where at what time. It all integrates together. That's the beauty of it.
And same with video and our access. Okay, in terms of, you have copies of the proposal, so I'll go over this with regards to making sure that everybody understands it, and you might even wanna. So, you can see this, okay, good.
Yeah, so I can go through this if you like.
Go ahead.
Yep, so what we're proposing here is taking over the existing system. Currently, there's two systems here. Our system, which is doing your panic buttons. So as soon as the button's pressed, we're live streaming the audio and the video. Other than that, the other system is not under us. So we'd be taking over all of those devices, recertifying everything, we test everything upon cutover. In addition to that, we would be
Does
adding.
anyone know what a panic button is, just in case you have a question? Okay.
Yep. So in addition to that, we'd be adding 2 more of the multi-sensors to the basement area to cover those door entry points and any sound that be going on down there. And then we would also be integrating in the access control, so the intrusion panel and the access system act as one unit, yes.
But when you take over the existing system, don't you have to change the cameras and stuff to be compatible?
Yeah, so just for this portion, I'm just talking the intrusion side of it, so the burglary alarm system. So we disassemble the panel that's currently down there, take over those sensors, we test everything. We're extremely strict about checking every single alarm point. If one of them's not up to code there, then we get them fixed up for
I
you.
just meant, are they the same, well, my question was really, are they the same functionality on the ones that here from Guardian that you have in your system, or would they have to be replaced in order to have the infrared and the?
They would need to be put into our system for the full integration piece. So our system is what's
So they
doing
can
the
talk to each other.
But that's not in this price?
Not in this portion of it, no, this is the intrusion portion.
Okay.
Yeah, there's another section.
Yep, so we'll go through a couple different sections here. But this is for the alarm system as a whole, and then we'll have a cellular backup unit on the system as well. So if the building was to lose network in an outage, it's also communicating over cellular. We're not calling you immediately to let you know that it's down.
Those snowstorms.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Straight up line here.
And then on the access control portion, we're looking at installing it on 3 doors. It's not very handy.
Yep, I have it.
So this would be integrated in with the intrusion portion like we were saying earlier, so as soon as you come in through one of those doors, if it's a user that has valid access to that door, it'll allow them in. It's the main entry, one downstairs in the basement area, and then the meeting room door.
Give them your maps of your building.
2 doors downstairs.
2 doors downstairs?
2 doors downstairs.
Two separate.
Yeah, there's 2 separate doors downstairs.
So then again, yes, when they badge in, it'll disarm the alarm system if they have access to that.
It's right here, the front door, and then one of the doors downstairs.
It's only 1 door
There's
downstairs?
one door downstairs, this room.
Oh,
and
cause the
front
meeting
door.
gets used.
Cause the meeting
Yeah.
room.
Right, right.
And then that center room down there in the basement.
Okay.
Oh, you got it right there.
Yeah, I do.
Perfect.
Yeah,
It's
so
the
I
little,
was counting this one,
Card reader.
these 2, and then the side one over there too.
Yes, so
Yeah.
Yep, and what's nice about that is you can set up shifts. So like today, we had multiple people coming up to this door, pulling on it. Instead of having to physically dog that door, we can set up shifts for when the board meetings are scheduled for. 2 minutes before, let's say it's 6:30, door unlocks, and then it stays unlocked until the end of the meeting, relatches itself, building's resecured without you having to physically dog all those doors.
And then this is the video surveillance that you were speaking of.
Yep, and then the video portion, this is where we would be upgrading all the existing cameras, and then it all becomes one piece. So if once we put an audio sensor in here, the multi-sensor there, that window gets shattered. Not only is that multi-sensor streaming, the camera's streaming to our central station, audio's coming in, we're able to verify every alarm. And then again, that goes with the health check as well. I know we kind of touched base on that already, but that piece is nice too, because you're not physically having to check your cameras every night to make sure they're all online. It's, as soon as one camera goes down, it alerts our central station. We're able to reach out and let you know, camera 2 is offline currently, we're gonna get somebody out there to fix that for you.
Jake, I got a question. Did I hear correctly that, you can somehow stream what comes out of here to one of the police departments?
Yes, yeah, so we actually we work a lot with CAD-I in Flint. So what that means is we have certain businesses throughout the city that are constantly live streaming into the Flint Police Department. So they're able to look up on a board, see multiple different cameras, to just kind of watch common areas. If there was to be an event, it gives them quick access to it. So it'd just be us creating them a login and then getting them set up.
Okay.
Any other questions on the camera portion? Okay.
I wanna use this time for something else. At some point tonight, I'm gonna address the fact that I would like to have a child-proof system in here, so we're not using the cell phone. And my wish list would be, one, that it records, which I think is probably a no-brainer, but but I think it would be great for the community if we could live stream it as well, so that everyone knows. Another sales representative from Sonatrol was kind enough to give me the name of an organization that does this type of thing. And they were happy for the referral, but said more likely than not, Sonatrol could provide that. So I know I'm putting you two on the spot, but it is something that I think the board will consider in the near future as well.
Yeah, I'd be happy
Company
to
called
check this
last
out
time said that
before
they
you-
could actually do what you wanted done. Okay.
Yeah, so that's something, I obviously don't have that prepared right now,
No.
but that's something we could definitely try to get set up for you and send over the proposal, and kind of work through that. Same side of it, I think Ashley was the one who was telling me about
Yeah.
another rep, so we do support the businesses that we work with, we're big into partnership in that aspect, so I mean, I'd be working with them as well on that, get some advice on the route that they think would be a good way to go, and I contradict that the way I think we should go, and we're always good at being in the middle there.
Great.
Any questions, thoughts? Everybody wants dinner? Don't look to me to cook it, hi Myra.
Is your 30-day proposal firm? Cause I don't know if the board's gonna decide this in 30 days.
So it is for, the proposal numbers are for 30 days. We do, it's twofold and two-pronged why that is. One, once you make the decision and put in the deposit, that's when we get you on the schedule. Our schedule in installation right now, we're about 12 weeks out, because it seems to be the sign of the times. We're working through that. I'd rather over and have it be less than the opposite, correct? So, yes. What is your typical process on how you do that? You take a vote, talk about
Yeah,
it?
the board would take a vote. I think we're still fact finding and costs.
Absolutely. And we're happy to answer if any questions come up in the near future. Feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to come back, answer anything so everyone has the same information at the same time, whatever is best for you.
Yeah, and everyone, our sales rep was on vacation, so
Yes.
these two stepped in to help out.
I'm Plan B, sorry.
This is a really silly question, but I noticed that you had 5 key fobs on there. Are those expensive for additional, cause that would not be enough for us?
No, they're $10 a piece,
Oh.
and we also offer cards. So we give 5 complimentary ones just to kind of show what they look like. The difference is we have key fobs that go right on a key ring, they're tiny little things. Then we have access cards, which is
Okay.
generally what I carry, cause I can
Sure.
pull my wallet out, get my badge and keep moving,
Okay.
just on preference.
Are there any, I don't know what the hell to call this, quantity discounts? For example, we have a fire station under construction that I'm sure will need something. Can that be factored into,
It's definitely something that can be factored in. I don't have like a specified quantity right now.
Right.
Now, we
We'd have to
just-
see the firehouse and what they're
well,
looking.
somebody in this room, meaning me, forgot to send the drawings over. I just realized it.
Gotcha.
That'll come soon. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very
Appreciate it.
Very
We
helpful.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ashley was very pleasant, by the way.
Oh, thank you. She is. She's up north relaxing, although she has a couple of small children, so how much can you relax? As relaxing can be, right?
That's good.
Did you want another copy?
I don't need one.
Yeah, I'm all set. I have a couple of them up here. Thank you.
Thank you both for coming tonight.
Thanks for having
Thank you
us.
for having us.
Okay, next item on the agenda, I guess, is, public hearing, and we have nothing for today. By the way, I just I was gone all week gauging from some calls we all had this morning. Some people thought there was going to be something on here about the storage batteries, it never was. And there was a meeting that was originally scheduled for Wednesday, and this morning I found out that's been canceled and I don't have a new date for it, or at least I haven't seen it. So if for some reason you were here for the storage batteries, you might wanna check later this week and see if there's some new dates for it.
Bob, did you say Wednesday's meeting has been
The
canceled?
14th, yeah, found out this morning when I got in.
The subcommittee.
The subcommittee is
Okay.
The
3 to.
subcommittee's meeting tomorrow.
Oh, are they?
Yes, the subcommittee's meeting tomorrow. The special meeting that they were going to have
For the
committee
people to see the.
present to the PC, that was canceled for Wednesday. So I don't know if they'll just plan to meet on their traditional PC meeting, which is like the 27th, whatever that Tuesday is at the end of the month. Or if they're still intending on a special meeting, they'll probably know more after tomorrow.
Yeah, cause they, as I understood it, they only got through about 3 of 10
Yeah.
pages on it, so they just
They're
didn't.
still plugging along there.
Okay. Just in case anybody did, I wanna make sure.
Yeah.
Unfinished business, I don't think we have anything from last month. Under new business, the first thing is to discuss the fiscal year 25 MCCC contract. Sounds like
Yes.
awards for breakdancing or
So
something.
kind of awards, kind of. So this is actually, it kind of is old business. We started to talk about it last month. I was presented with paperwork, with the assumption that we would be allocating all of our smart credits toward WODA. So WODA, if you're not familiar, they now service Groveland Township as of last year. Prior to this past year, all of our smart credits have always in the past been split between Holly and Brandon. Last year, WODA came in and said, just give them all to Brandon, that's fine, it's not a big deal. So they have been growing in this area, WODA has been growing in this area. However, after last month's meeting, we kind of felt like we needed to get a little bit more information. So you'll see some paperwork in here and some emails back and forth. We still have the option to allocate these wherever we would like. So, you are gonna see, first of all, you're gonna see in here the, contract that was originally submitted to me by WODA. So this is, for the record, this is not what I am promoting, this is just the paperwork that was submitted primarily so that you could see how we allocate them, and that our overall total is $5,529. We still can split those, we can give them all to WODA, we can give them all to the senior center in Brandon like we did last year. And if you read through some of those emails, you kind of have an idea of where things are at there. The county has, strongly recommended that they are given to WODA, but I have made sure that is not a requirement. With that being said, I think it's important that we hear from Faye, because she is the one who runs the senior center in Brandon and has a little bit more of an understanding about how many people in Groveland are still using their services. So thank you so much, Faye, for coming today, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to you if you don't mind.
No. Like you said, I'm Faye Bendig and I'm the coordinator at the senior center. I did a little research on WODA and also did some counting. We actually, as of right now, because we have lost a few during COVID from Groveland, there used to be a lot more people that we would transport, but we've lost a few, so. Right now, we are transporting approximately 5 people from Groveland. 2 people are on a weekly basis, sometimes more than once a week. We also deliver Focus Hope and commodities. Those are food programs. We deliver those to some area residents in Groveland Township. Commodities is for low income, anybody, over 18. And Focus Hope is for low income seniors. So we do deliver some out to the Groveland Township area. We do have a lot of the seniors from Groveland Township that do come and utilize the senior center. So I want to give you a little background on, I figure I'm doing the village later, so I've got NODA also here, so. So WODA is if they're if the weather's bad, so if they close, the person has to go on the website to find out that their ride has been canceled. No, I take the book home with me. If we're forecast, I take the book home with me, I take the phone book home with me. Those people get personal phone calls in the morning. You know, none of this, because there's a lot of our seniors that are not really tech savvy. So, and some of them don't have a lot of internet. Some of them have a lot of hard times with their computers. So how are they supposed to know? If they have to go on the website or on their Facebook page, they're gonna be sitting there waiting. How many times have you yourselves gone to the doctor and he says, oh, I'm calling you in a script, and you're going right by it? What do? You stop. WOTA won't. The only way that you can never make an extra stop. You have to call them and schedule another ride. All my driver has to do is call me and say, hey Faye, we're going right by it. I just want to let you know, do I have another run that you just scheduled or anything? No, go ahead and stop. It'll take you 5 minutes, because by the time you get there, it's done. If they call and schedule a ride to the doctor's, and then they also schedule at the same time a stop at their pharmacy, they have to pay actually 3 times. Once to the doctor's, once from the doctor's to the pharmacy, and from the pharmacy to home. So they are paying $6 to go, I don't know, okay, let's say Genesis. Let's just say Genesis. I'm trying to think of in this area between, you know. They also have a limited area. We don't. We go anywhere except for Ann Arbor, because there's no parking in Ann Arbor, so we don't drive to Ann Arbor. We take people to St. Clair Shores, we take them to Sterling Heights, we take them to Macomb County, we take them, you know, Commerce Township. We are not, our money is a suggested donation. If you pay, that's great. If you don't, we're not gonna tell you no. There is nothing in the WOTA rules that says that they will not transport you, but they do have a charge. And you can buy tokens or you can pay the driver. So it's kind of, you know.
And that's on top of the tax millage.
And that's on top of the tax millage. I will tell you that we don't get as many donations as we should, but you know what? It's a service to the community, and I don't care, you know, if you're Groveland Township, you're Brandon Township, you're the village of Ortonville, you are still Ortonville. And you have to book for WOTA, you have to book at least 48 hours in advance. If you call me in the morning and say, Faye, my doctor called, I have an appointment this afternoon, they needed to change it, and I have an opening and I have a driver, I'm taking that person. We are going to take that person to that doctor's. If you do not call at least 2 hours before your appointment to cancel, say your doctor calls and he's had an emergency, he's not gonna be there. If your appointment's at 9 and he calls you at 8, you're gonna be charged. You're gonna be charged the $2 for the ride that you aren't getting, and you will be counted as a no-show. 2 or 3 no-shows, they kinda give you a warning. 2 or 3 more no-shows, they put you on a suspension for a week or 2 weeks, you know. And you don't know if you're gonna wake up sick, you know, so, I mean, it's kinda, you have a 5-minute timeline from your doctors. So you call, you make the appointment, your appointment's at 9 o'clock, and you figure, okay, I'll be in there an hour. So you schedule your pickup time at 10, or even if you schedule it at 10:15. If you are not out there at 10:20, more than, I would say, probably 90% of the time, they're leaving. And you are counted as a no-show. So you pay for that, and then you have to call them and set up another appointment. I know I'm being really hard on WODA, but I'm just, you know,
Don't they have a huge number of people that can't comply with? I mean, I know sometimes when I take my wife to one of her doctor appointments, it can end up taking 3.5, 4 hours for literally a
Exactly.
10-minute visit.
Exactly,
And we were there early.
yep.
Wow. I'm gonna
We
call
have-
it $3 a ride next time.
And there's also, the fact that they have to fill out an application. And it could take anywhere from a couple of days to 3 weeks before they're approved. So I personally, I really feel that, they're getting much more money than that $5,000. We have one lady that we transport, she goes on all the grocery shopping trips, and we have one a week to different stores. We go to Grand Blanc Walmart, Oxford Myers, Vicky's, and Sashabaw Road Kroger, and we alternate them, and she goes on every solitary one of them. And if she goes with WODA to the grocery store, however many bags she has to carry herself, or if the driver can carry them in one trip, that's fine. But they will only make one trip. You know, my drivers, in and out, in and out, in and out, take them up to the door, so it's just, oh, and this is a big one. If the, destination is more than 10 miles away, they may transfer the passenger to a different WODA vehicle to accommodate more passengers. And that's all fine and dandy, but I can guarantee you that this one resident, there's no way she would be able to do it. And I think, you know, we have one woman who uses us to come to the senior center, and then she uses NODA and goes over to a function over in Oxford once a week. Cause she didn't think we'd do that. Yeah, we do it, you know, but. So, that's just, I really hope, that you consider giving us the community credits, because it does help with the gas and, you know, so. Any questions?
You are smart, correct? Smart service?
Oh, I'm like.
Oh, I'm sorry to say, yes, you are.
Do I have to answer that question?
You are. You are smart service.
Yes.
And they are too.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
all right.
we are through smart.
And are these still considered smart credits?
These are still considered smart credits,
Okay.
yes.
And just as a little tidbit of info, Smart is moving into Woda area. They moved up into Waterford.
Good to know, yeah.
That was done about a month ago, I think I got the notification on it.
And they're probably experiencing the same growing pains that WODA is. I get that component, but, yeah, I hear your appeal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Faye.
Thanks, Faye.
Thank you.
So I'm not sure if that answered any questions that anybody had, but that's where we're at, just so that the people know. And I thought I had it in here, I tried to glance real quick to find it. There was a statistic that our, transit taxes,
Yes, there's
it's in here somewhere, right? Yeah, I thought I had it in there.
Yeah.
It was something like 50% of the transit taxes last year went to WODA, went directly to WODA from our community. And I think this year they were anticipating closer to 80%.
Yeah.
So we are, you are, me too, we are paying for that. About 80% of what comes out of here toward that goes to WODA. They are slowly progressing into this area, but there I do think, and you've heard some of them today, are still some deficiencies. They're still trying to figure out how to get out to this area a little bit more. We are the rural Holly in Ortonville that they describe on their website. So yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts?
Well, 80% of all of our, open transit money, that's probably $240,000. So I'm kind of thinking that we should give the $5,529 to Brandon for the senior center. I know that 5 or 6 residents is not a lot, but they would not have some other way to do this, and I think it would be a good place to put the money.
I will second that. Can you make it a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we give the smart credits to the senior center for, is this for 2024?
Yes,
It's through.
it's actually July 24 to June 25.
Okay, for July 1st, 2024 through June 30th of 2025.
And anybody who's ever had to get an elderly
second.
person to change their route.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
I guess just to clarify, and though there are only 5 people, it sounds like it's still an option for additional elderly.
True.
Oh, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And I know, these are the same elderly individuals who get tax assistance as well. So, I've spoken with some of them on the phone and everything else, so, I think it's money well spent. So I
Lisa
make a
made the
motion.
Gina second. Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, if not, Laura, would you take a roll call on it?
Jim Christopher,
Yes.
Gina Mazzarella,
Yes.
Robert Chapon,
Yeah.
Janelle Keller,
Yes.
Teresa Bills.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next item, this one's yours, Janelle, right? The Guardian camera system for the road box?
Yeah, so this we actually approved last month, but when I went to schedule it, this was for the camera installation. Thank you for coming, Faye.
Thank you.
For the camera installation in the back of the building, and it was also the upgrade to the system. So we actually have already approved it, however, when I went to schedule it, and say, yes, our board approved it, an agreement for
Showed up.
terms showed up for 5 years, for 16 months. So it actually is an annual fee, but it ended up being a fee that we were kind of committing to for 5 years. So, that is still in your packet. I know that we've had Sonatrol come in and they presented some, options there as well. And there was another one, did that get in here, or maybe that's only in my packet? What was the other one, Solution? They also, this is in front of you, they also submitted another one, because I told them that I didn't know if the board was going to commit to 5 years. So there's also a 3-year commitment instead of the 5 years. So I don't know where we're at with this. I know we've had some discussions about different cameras. Again, what this does is it upgrades our system for the election. We have to have 30 days retention to use the ballot box that's been installed. We need a camera, which is reimbursed by the state. So the installation of the camera installation is reimbursed by the state. However,
Subscription fees now, right?
correct, the 30-day retention portion is not. So to upgrade our system to allow for that 9th camera and the 30-day retention is really what this is committing to. It sounds like if we don't do this, and if we don't, well, I guess that's where we're at. We may not have a camera for that November election and may not use that ballot box for a couple of years, but
But I thought we have to have that.
in order to use that box, we have to have
Okay, so
a
if the
camera
box
monitoring
is, now that
system.
we finally got the box installed, if we can't use it, there's gonna be people beating on it if they think they can't get into it or something. I mean, we have to use the box.
We have to have this by like, when was it? Do you remember? 2020, is it 2025 January or is it?
I thought it was 2025, I didn't think it was January, I thought it was something, a different date.
Sometime in 2025. So it is a requirement for us to have this sometime within the next, let's say, 8 months. I'm shooting just in case it's the middle of the year. It is a requirement for us to have a newly installed ballot box with 30-day retention moving forward.
Okay.
We are kind of grandfathered in for this little window with that little ballot box, but I do think that this is more effective for our constituents.
And we still, they have to get a PDF file from you for the fire station, right?
Mhm.
So if we do this, it doesn't preclude being able to look at them for the fire station, right?
It also doesn't necessarily impact the access doors, it just wouldn't be the same system.
And how do you feel about having 2 different systems?
We have 2 systems
right
right
now.
now.
But that's why I'm
I-
asking, I'm not in here, so.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I think it probably works better if they're all together.
It's interesting when the things go out, you know, how we have, facilities problems in Groveland, rain hits and stuff. Well, I get a call from Guardian saying, you know, your system's out, the internet's not working. And I get a call from Sonatrol saying, we're just letting you know your cameras are online. I go, yeah, I know, the internet's out again. So, we get it from both.
Janelle, did Sonatrol quote this by any chance? Are they a possible resource?
Did they quote it? What do you mean?
The camera on the ballot
I
box.
can't, thank you.
Yeah.
With a 30-day retention.
Yeah, hers is in there.
Yeah, it's in there.
It's in the packet.
What's the disparity in cost?
Well, they only have, it looks like it was only 8 cameras and not 9.
They have another one, though, I thought it said 16 cameras, or was it?
I have to look at that again.
Maybe I misunderstand.
There's a, yeah,
Is
there's
there
different
simply, is there
options.
a ballot box only?
They did not quote us for 1 camera, no.
So there's a 16 camera. The monthly fee is $115, and there's an 8,
Oh, yeah,
monthly fee is
16.
$79. On the 16, the surveillance total is $8,555.17. And on the 8, it is $3,739.93.
So that-
Do you need the storage amount, do you, yeah, I mean, cause I couldn't compare apples to apples either, I'm looking at this.
I know, there were, and we did, I just kind of tried with Ashley, and she tried, I think, as best as she could.
Right. Well, it's different, it is
Right.
different service.
I think this would probably be it, Jim, the closest that she has, and that would be the changing of the system, I think. Does that look like it, the 8?
The 8,555.
Is the
No,
closest.
there's one, was that 3,700?
Yeah.
There's a 16
There's a
one,
16
but that's
channel.
substantially more. But the 8 is the closest to comparing the apples to apples.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion is, and granted it's tainted, I almost feel, Janelle, that makes me have an attitude about it. So that we can move this forward, for you, if you've gotta have this, then you've gotta have it. If it can wait a week or so for Ashley, our sales rep, to get in,
Well, it sounds like it was a 12 week,
To install.
correct.
install, and I'm willing to bet, if you say, hey, we'd like, I mean, I'm happy to do this with you. We're gonna give you the whole enchilada, you gotta get this stat, the rest can wait, but this is, I think, your emergency.
This is, well, like I said, I mean, we did agree on it last month, but yeah, I think we owe it to the community to get this moving. I do think it would be nice to have, I know that you are very passionate about Sonatrol, but
I'm
we are
as
still.
passionate against this company.
I know.
Yeah.
But we still are only looking at one bid here, so, I don't know, are we gonna wait for another month and look
Well,
at some additional
Maybe,
bids?
maybe we can circumvent the month, if our sales rep is in next week, I'll be part of a conference call with you and her and say, you know, we wanna do something here. And maybe we can have a real quick board meeting to approve it in 2 weeks, so you don't have to wait a month, or 1 week, whatever it takes. I don't wanna see you being hung out to dry on this, you've got enough on your plate. And if we wanna have another bid, then wait a week, or a half.
If you just need one camera to monitor that system, why can't we just buy one from Amazon or Sam's, put it in and wait for the whole system for everything else? If you just need, I mean, like the system we have at the station, you can just, yeah, I mean, $300 you can put it
Yeah.
in, yeah.
Yeah, but.
We have to have the 30 days of
Just have
storage.
to, that's all it is. Just one camera with 30 days storage.
Well,
Can you get one camera with?
Oh, sure.
I'm asking.
You can get an 8-camera system, but only put one camera in, and it'll have, you can get 30 days storage.
It would hold storage for 4 months.
Yeah.
It'd
So I
be-
mean, if you're just looking for a quick answer,
Yeah, we talked about it.
that would meet the requirement, and then they can do the whole system, I mean, and then when you're done with it, I'll take it, you know, I don't know. Someone will take it to the station if you don't want it, we'll use it.
How much does something like that typically
You
cost?
can get up to like $300, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, what we used after
No,
we approved this, but and Jim knows, cause I've asked multiple times, for 3 bids tonight that we could compare, and we still have one. We have this one that is already existing, and I know we don't like Guardian, right?
Yeah.
But
And then solution, which I haven't looked at.
yeah, that came in today. This was also tossed around, kicked around last year,
Yes.
right? And didn't get done. And here we are, a year later, still trying to figure it out. So if we wanna go forward with the Amazon, that's fine. But I will be very clear, whatever we decide with this, we need 3 comparable bids moving forward.
I agree.
Whatever it's going to be. I have personally not had any issues with Guardian. They have been fine for us, they've been great to work with. I think,
There was a time they were bad, but that was
Yeah.
several years ago, they've been
Yeah.
very good since then.
I think it's already here. It would be at least nice to see what they have to offer. So I think they should be included in one of those bids. And maybe that means we have a 4th bid. But I do think if we're moving in that direction, like, it needs to come together. So I'm fine with, we can throw up an Amazon camera, but
Vinny, can you research a standalone camera, and make sure it's.
$309, 3 cameras, 2 months recording, wireless system.
You gotta
Okay.
have, you gotta have 90 days, or was it?
30 days,
Oh,
30
30
day
days.
retention.
Okay.
So that would be fine.
So that would work, okay.
I mean, 2 cameras, 230, you want a 10 camera, I mean, it can do that, it says it will
Yeah,
work
that
for
would be
2
fine.
months.
Yeah.
She said
Okay.
we've done this before.
Yeah, we've talked about this before.
We need that one up,
Yeah,
but I am with you wanting comparable bids to look at, cause
Yeah.
this is not, I can't make a real good decision this way.
right.
I mean, grab Guardian in.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, do we wanna make a motion then to buy the temporary system from Amazon? Who's gonna put it in?
Then you're right, put it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
So-
think,
What is this Where would this camera, like, this is
It's
3
gonna-
cameras, you just mount them on the
They're just
walls?
gonna use
What is
one
it?
of
Just like your home cameras, like your Ring doorbell or something, but,
You
What's-
So,
you could probably mount it in the window there on the inside. Put it out.
we also, Laura, do you remember looking at those? Can they be action like, is it just
Motion.
action, motion detected? Do you remember?
I don't,
I
I
don't
mean,
remember.
I just did a quick search, you could look it up, whatever specs
Yeah,
you're looking
we'd
for.
have to look into it.
I think what most of them do is they'll record 24 hours a day, but when there's motion, it keys it so you could go find the motion.
Okay, yeah, cause that's the only thing we'd have to look into is, can it just be like a motion detection and record, or does it have to be consistent recording? I don't know the answer to that. So, I suppose if that works, and we can research that again.
are you comfortable with that? I mean, that's gonna satisfy the requirement and you feel confident that that's
It will satisfy the requirement for now,
for now?
yes.
So give us the legal requirement, shop it out,
Yes.
get that one up.
Yes.
What,
You
you know
don't
how
worry
we're
about
getting
time.
reimbursement? What does that mean for that?
It would probably be a slightly smaller reimbursement from the state. So when we move.
But that would be
forward,
peanuts to the whole solution.
Yeah, they'll reimburse it for $300 or whatever.
But there wouldn't be a monthly monitoring fee, or would there be?
No service.
Oh, usually there's a
Where
service
is it?
The
fee.
one I
Can
looked
you
at,
record it?
it's like ours at the station, there's no service.
Really?
If it's local storage,
It's just, it's got a terabyte drive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that big enough for 30 days, 60 days, whatever?
one camera, yeah.
Okay.
I said
So we
terabyte.
just
it
need
might
to
be
treat
10
right on that
terabyte,
ballot
but I
box.
don't know.
Right. And
Yes.
That's why we put it inside so nobody can touch it.
Right, secure.
I will,
We would need more than the ballot, ideally, we would have more than the ballot box, because we do use that for early voting. So we really should be seeing who's coming in and out, just because it's a little bit more.
So then maybe we want 3.
So
Well,
a
we may just
three-camera
need one, if we
system.
can just have it in the right spot,
Okay.
yeah.
Alright, then we need a motion to go ahead and proceed with buying a camera for not more than $500. Purpose of monitoring
I'd say, I'll make a motion that we purchase a camera that suffices all the legalities that Janelle needs to do her job correctly in regards to the ballot box.
I appreciate that, just in case there is a service fee that we get sucked into or
Okay.
something.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
Are we putting a limit amount on it?
No,
No?
no, we need it to be legal, we need it to be what we need it to be. It's not gonna be $3,000.
Right. It's gonna be a few $100.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
I mean, we're not gonna go crazy or anything.
Okay,
Thank you,
motion
Chief.
made, seconded. Any other questions or comments? If not, even though we don't know the exact amount, Laura, would you take the roll call?
Teresa Bills,
Yes.
Jim Christopher,
Yes.
Gina Mazzarelli.
Yes.
Robert Toronto.
Yes.
Janelle Kelly. Yes.
Okay, good then.
Yep,
Yeah, Janelle, I actually have a meeting Thursday with a bunch of facility managers. I'll ask who they use. Maybe I can give you some other names.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, next item on the agenda, discuss the natural gas contract. We approved this months ago. We've been with, Rob, who is one of the authorized resellers of natural gas to Oakland County. Because when we started this project years ago, I only wanted to deal with somebody that we thought that vetted and was, solid provider. Oakland County had 2 users, Rob was one of them. He gave us the price. Over the years, they have saved us quite a bit of money. Contract came up for renewal, and we renewed it months ago. But it's been sitting on my desk, because he never actually sent me the contract. He said, you keep on changing the rates, so let me watch it for a little while. So I think it went 3 or 4 months without getting renewed. Then I called him back and said, well, what are we gonna do? And he said, well, it looks like they're getting ready in anticipation of what they think the winter will be. So, just so you understand, when you buy the service from this reseller, you're buying it at a certain amount per MCF unit of gas. And it's that for the length of the contract. So even on the last contract, while we saved a lot of money, there were a few months when there was a glut of natural gas on the market, and it got lower than what our price was. But over the length of the contract, we were ahead. He had proposed a 3 or 4 year contract, and I think I emailed everybody and said, hey, we had approved this, but it hasn't been done yet. what do you wanna do? And the gist of it was, yeah, go ahead and do what you think is right. So when I talked to Rob, he had a 3 and a 4-year contract, he said they're still kinda hedging, and as you can anticipate, things like, you know, if the Ukraine war gets worse and gas gets shortage, it'll shoot up to $8 an MCF again like it did last winter. So this is to lock it in, and I think the price for the 3-year was $385. So I signed for it after communicating with everybody. I just want to let you know it's been done now, and I guess we'll see again at the end of it how it goes, because he provides us a printout at the end that says here is what it was month by month compared to what consumers was. Okay. And some of the other resellers that called, by the way, just so you know, one of them kept on calling us saying, oh, we're gonna do 10% less than whatever they are. I kept on saying, well, let's send me something so I can see that right, okay? Well, we don't have anything to send you, it's just always 10%. Well, when you talk to Rob Bernardi, the guy we deal with, he says, you gotta watch him, he's had contracts from a couple of these guys telling him one thing and billing them something else altogether. So, for the same reasons I went with the county provider of the service originally, I don't recommend changing. And if we find out after this next 3 years, for whatever reason it doesn't work for us, then we can decide at that time. I just wanted to let everybody know that we did it. Okay, so,
Thank you.
and I think I covered it with everybody. Okay.
So we're good to go for 3 more years on
Yep.
natural gas?
Yep, yeah, and I think I gave you the contract, right, you know? Texting my own memory here. But I'm pretty sure I gave it to you after I signed it.
I think I have it.
Yes. Okay.
She gets a key card to your office.
Yeah. I never lock it anyway. Okay, I'm sorry, the next item on the agenda was, well, MDOT on,
It was already passed.
pardon me?
Oh, Laura was asking about a motion, I was just.
Oh,
telling
I'm
you that
sorry.
That one was already passed.
Yeah, it was already passed, so it did
That's
need a
just
motion.
bring a discussion.
The next item is a request came to me from a resident. As you all know, with the situation on I-75 or the lack thereof, traffic on Dixie has been up significantly. In some places, 80% more. I think Springfield had a complaint that they couldn't get their fire trucks out of the station down there at Davisburg. And this lady called because she's noticed that with all the traffic diverted to Dixie Highway, there's a lot of gravel haulers going down the road and they're jake braking, which is where they use the drag on the motor to actually slow the vehicle down without wearing the brakes out, okay? But when you do it, it kind of makes the engine rev up and it makes a lot of noise. And she wanted to know if we could put signs up for it, so I did some checking. They had a similar request in Oxford. Here's the problem. Jake braking's not against the law, okay? So they had some signs posted in downtown Oxford because the same thing was happening there. You know, there's a big levee pit at the end of Oxford by Myers. And right after they did that, the sheriff went out there and wrote a whole bunch of tickets. And every one of them got dismissed because it's not against the law. And they challenged him and said, you can't write me tickets. I'm not breaking the law. That's what they're doing. So I'm just trying to close the loop on this. I mean, we could buy some signs and put them up, but I'm telling you, they have no validity. You can't get anybody to write a ticket on it. There isn't a judge that will uphold the ticket. And I think we're getting kind of nowhere. It's one of those things that might make somebody feel good because, you know, it's like people when they used to say, I want a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit in front of my house, you know. Okay, they posted, now they're down to, what, 42? You know, it's the same kind of thing. It just doesn't change the behavior of people that probably are doing the jake braking anyway. The more considerate drivers will probably tend to use their brakes and slow them down, but you can't make them stop. So I'm just bringing this to the board. I'll have to call the lady back. Her letters in my, or emails in my box somewhere, but honestly, I don't see where this is gonna do any good to put the
I was
signs up.
surprised at the times.
Well, I think
She was
it's,
saying she heard it. I mean, 11 PM, 4:33 AM, 12:37 AM, I don't see gravel trucks out at that time. And I
Are they
know.
gravel trucks or? are
well,
they
I'm
just
assuming
set
there,
down?
because
Okay.
they could be any big truck, but it's usually the
Yeah,
gravel
and
trucks
it's
that use
up
it.
I think it's just.
Because there's just so much more traffic on
Yeah.
Dixie.
It's just
Well, yeah, and
way
she
up.
is right up close to the road, right?
And I know everybody's kind of fed up with the problems on Dixie, but there's just, does anybody think that we're not gonna have problems at the Renaissance Festival this year.
The trucks start forming up at Alex's around 4:35 o'clock. in the
Yeah,
morning.
and we're just not gonna be able to stop that, and those guys know that they're not breaking the law, so I feel bad for the lady, I feel bad for all the people that have complained about the excess of traffic on Dixie Highway, but I just don't know any way to get around this, and I don't see that posting a bunch of signs that nobody can write tickets on is gonna do any good. So unless the board has some other decision, I'll have to get back to her with an email and say, here's what I found out, because they were worthless in Oxford.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
gonna have to make that call.
I know, it's a fun one. After I do the two other things I got in the morning, that'll be my next one. Call lady. Okay, I just wanted to let everybody know, so if you hear something, you know what it's about.
Maybe you could let her know that the traffic might get so bad that they're barely moving.
Yeah, here's the good thing. You don't like the chain braking, but the good news is they're gonna be at a standstill for hours.
That sounds perfect.
So you can go out there with an air horn and beep them back or whatever.
No, I do feel for her. You
I
know,
know,
I
it's
do
terrible.
accept
I
that
understand
kind
how she feels, but it's just,
Yeah.
I mean, we all know it's a temporary situation this year, and next
Right.
summer's gonna be the same thing, cause we close the other half of the freeway off, you know. Okay, the next item is discuss BGYA Township sponsoring, I think, is that?
Well,
Teresa?
no, it's not really me, but, I mean, I can talk about it.
Yeah. Bob brought
So,
it in.
yeah, Bob MacArthur's not here.
Oh, okay.
Not even-
So Bob MacArthur brought this letter in, and basically it's just annually, part of the, charter or bylaws of Brandon Groveland Youth Assistance is that, the Village of Ortonville, Brandon Township, Groveland Township, and Brandon Schools all help every year to fund the programming with BGYA, so he's asking for the $2,500 for 2024. And that's just all it is, and he's listed a few things that they do with it, but.
And then we end up doing the same thing for
I was
Haya.
gonna say, Haya will
Yep.
probably ask the same thing, we just haven't received that paperwork yet.
Right.
So I would motion that we, go ahead and contribute that $2,500 as we've done in the past to BGYA.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Regina, any questions or comments from the board? Okay, Laura?
Gina Christopher,
Yes.
Gina Mazzarelli.
Yes.
Robert Topham.
Yes.
Janelle Keller.
Yes.
Teresa Bills.
Yes.
Okay, good. Next item, discuss township phones for board members, and I had asked to postpone this until all the board members were here. I just start this off. I know I have the cell phone. I actually have it working again now. It's been kinda on and off the last couple of days. But, I do get calls on mine in the evening and on weekends and stuff, but not a huge number of them, but I do get calls throughout the week on mine. And that's the reason I prefer to keep it separate from my personal cell phone that somebody said I look like a drug dealer because it's getting two of them. That's the reason for it. And, I do think the supervisor needs them. I don't know about anybody else, so it's, just open the discussion with whatever anybody wants to say now.
You know, I started the dialogue on this, and I'm softening everybody. I think I got 3 calls. Actually, I've had 3 calls in August, and 2 of them by the same person. So you know what,
Is that me?
No, and I'm sorry, I gotta go into my notes because I don't remember the name, but it's something I do need to address. They felt comfortable talking to me. I'll come in probably tomorrow, we'll talk about it. So, you know what, as long as you're civil, I'm just worried about the psychotic suburbanite that just doesn't let something go. If that happens,
I've never had one of those.
yeah,
In
well, I'm
28
sure I'll have
years.
the good luck, but
Yeah.
anyhow, I'm off of that bandwagon.
I
I don't
won't.
know how you all feel.
It's not been a problem for me. Most of the calls there are legitimate. It's either the state police asking me for something for a meeting they wanna set up, and I maybe get the call because it's the evening shift guy,
Yeah.
you know, like we had. Or, as you know, Barry is hard to get a hold of, so I text him about 100 times and then I wait for a call. Sometimes there are different times, or he just pops in, but I have to say, I have not had, that I can recall, any real negative, nasty kind of call us for anything. I think my wife had one once, years ago, when I was up at the lake, and she said, some lady called and asked if you were there, and I said, no, he's up at the cottage, and she said, well, what? He's taking a vacation?
How
She
dare
said,
he?
yes, he is. So, I wasn't there. That's the only call I can think of that was even close to being nasty in
Yeah.
28 years.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, overreacting.
Any other discussion?
Chief.
No.
Steve McGee had a cell phone from the department, and I didn't want 2 phones, but I think my replacement will probably want one, because I do receive a lot of phone
Yeah,
calls.
sure, you get the same kind of stuff I get or worse.
So, I would recommend, I mean, it won't come out of our budget, obviously, but my replacement will probably need a cell phone.
And actually, for township activities, those calls should be separate, because if they're subpoenaed or something.
Exactly.
I don't want my personal information from my planning attorney or something on subpoena call, you know?
And possibly losing your phone for
Yeah.
a period of time.
It's actually, it really is, like every conference I've ever been at, it's been a highly discussed subject. That they actually really encourage board members to have theirs,
Really?
specifically for that reason. There was a, it's real short, but there was a community on the west side of the state, and there was an issue in a lawsuit. And they ended up having to take personal phones of everyone in that office, because if they didn't have a office phone, they were clearly using their own personal cell phone, so their personal phones and laptops were all taken from them temporarily while they did this investigation. So they talk about it a lot. At the very least, I wouldn't recommend doing any business on your cell phone.
But I think most of them.
In my experience, they track you down. If they've got your cell phone and they don't get you on the first phone that they call, they will
They come after
call
your cell
every
phone.
number they have for
Yeah.
you, or knock on your door if they really wanna talk to you.
Anyway, I entirely support, I think that the new fire chief should have one too.
Okay, well,
Yeah, whoever wants one, I think is fine.
Jim, if it becomes a problem, I guess?
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay. All right, well, if that's it, we'll move on that, and the next item is, I think this was also your, request,
Yeah.
Jim, right?
Yeah, so.
Discuss trustee concerns?
I'm sorry, yeah, that's me.
Discuss
So
first.
everybody, what I am seeking to do is to make this room user-friendly to all the people that use it. So tonight was a perfect example. We had 2 presenters. It forced everybody in the audience to shift and look that way. And I'm suggesting that we consider another TV above the board people, so you folks can see a presentation without turning. The presenters are free to go pretty much wherever they want, but my opinion is they wanna be there. Because I'm anal retentive, I wanna see the cables buried in the wall, for God's sakes.
I did actually already ask Chris Johnsey about
Great.
that.
Great, thank you. And you guys, you gotta get used to my sense of humor. I mean, I just wanna see us come up to standards of a normal boardroom. Similar to that, you already heard that I think it would be great to throw this technology away unless there's an emergency. Let's put something in the ceiling or on the wall or wherever it needs to be. If we can stream, that would be totally cool. I don't, you know, you guys, I haven't done any research on it, but my opinion is if you tell me it's not against the rules, some of these people in a high horsepower content meeting might say, well, it's gonna be streamed. It would take a little bit of burden off of a smaller room, might be more convenient for people that are infirmed, and we're still recording it.
Or we might get a larger audience. I
We
know
might.
Vassar puts it on their Facebook page live.
Oh,
And they
really?
have for years, even when the Zoom thing went away, they did it before that and they kept it up, and they get, the audience can't participate any longer. Teresa just corrected me on that, but we can, but they can stream it and know what's going on and then call the office and reach out as a result, and they get people watching it.
Well, I think that would be great. You also might have overheard our sales rep, who wasn't here tonight. She gave me the name of a company locally here, excuse me, that suggested they'd be happy to sell us a TV and put this in, but in all likelihood, Sonatrol would do it a lot cheaper, and I suspect any of the other vendors. But that solves a whole bunch of problems. The recording, when Vinny goes to wherever he's gonna go as he gets older, you know, I just want something we can throw a switch and know in certainty it's gonna work. And I don't think this is gonna be a lot of money, so I just thought it would be kinda user-friendly to everything. That was one component, I'm looking at the notes. The other component, which we've bantered around at budget time, I think it would be a great time to change the boardroom chairs to something that's comfortable, that isn't
These?
threadbare. Yeah.
We did
And
approve,
those-
new tables. Did we approve chairs too?
Yes,
I
we
meant-
I meant-
actually,
I meant
we've
to
already
look at
actually
the whole
approved
really-
I
TVs.
think so.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have.
so, I don't know what's needed to take it forward. I will tell you, in my industry, furniture vendors are certainly pricey. The chairs, I think, are generally extraordinary, but I'm happy if somebody here wants to do some research, but
Well, you know, we picked up our new office
Yeah.
chairs, we did that from Costco, I think, wasn't it, or Sam's
maybe,
Club?
I haven't.
And they're comfortable, the new chairs are much nicer than when we.
If I'm used to writing checks as opposed to doing the physical work anymore, so, whatever works, I'd really like to see this one burnt.
And some of them are pretty bad.
Maybe put through a, I don't know, mulching machine.
Bears them.
Yeah. So how we move forward on that, I need some help, but I think that is the bulk. Let me make sure what my notes say. TV, camera, hide the cabling, yep, that's the source of my rant this evening.
Vinny, do you think you can put something together on a system that would be in place of this?
Yes.
And then
The only
coordinate
reason-
with Chris to get the cables buried and stuff, so we know what the whole package would look like,
Yeah.
okay?
And Mr. TV.
And another TV up here, yeah.
So, my concern is only that, it would have to be a system that is simple enough for the recording secretary to not have to be fumbling with, like,
I agree.
the recording secretary's job is to record
I
the
agree.
minutes and all that. They can't be fumbling with,
Well, exactly, that's their
Well,
job.
simple one
That's
button
not-
function.
The recording is not the job of the recording secretary.
correct. We need to keep it fairly simple so that it's not something that, like Laura or Danielle, when
Yeah.
they're doing their recordings, they just push a
In-
button and it works, or.
In Jim's speak, I would call it childproof.
Okay.
Intentionally made simple, user-friendly.
Well, we need to get something get started, so if Vinny, you can get an idea what the other TV, getting the cables buried, and something that you think would work, and then maybe run it by you, Jim, and see if that,
Yeah, I'm happy to help.
before we all take a look at it, to kind of get a litmus test on it
Yeah,
first.
and, I mean, we can get the TVs in, I'm sure there's a few things, and then if we make a promise to each other to sort this out ASAP, then that'll be inclusive too.
Okay, cool, all right. Okay, any other discussion on it? Okay. Next item is discuss the step increases for somebody named Laura.
Yes, so
This would
Laura,
be yours, Janelle.
I'll take that. Yes, Laura has been great. This will be her final step increase. Her 1 year is on Wednesday.
Been a good year too.
Thanks for sticking with us for a
Yes.
year, Laura.
You do excellent work, you've been very helpful on
She has.
all the documents for.
Yeah, dish it out, dish it out. And, in that time, we've had already 1, 2, 3, 4 elections. And another one, that election cycle starts on your 1 year anniversary. So the November elections will start on your 1 year.
Wonderful kickoff.
Right, so anyway, this is just her final step increase, and I will motion that she is approved for that to be paid out on the 2nd of the month.
Okay, is there a second to that?
2nd of September,
Yes.
I'll second that.
Teresa seconded,
Yep.
okay, any other questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, Laura, do you wanna take a roll call? Bet you she gets all the names right this
I
time.
bet she does.
Robert DePalma.
Yes.
Janelle Keller.
Yes.
Teresa Bills.
Yes.
Jim Christopher.
Yes.
Gina Mazzarelli.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You do great work, Laura, you've been a great part of the team. Discuss citizen communication possibility. This is the documents we have, I think, on my text, or text my gov. Who put that?
And GoGov.
Yeah, who put that together, was that?
Yeah, you know, me, Teresa, whoever you wanna put next to that.
It feels like talking about.
Do you wanna talk
Janelle
about
feels
it?
like talking about it.
I've been talking all night. Well, Teresa and I have just been, actually really since last year, we started talking about maybe doing a newsletter when we went through the Township Governance Academy, and we have been trying to figure out some different ways to connect with the community. I know I brought up, I think last month, the newsletter idea. These were just some other options that we've sat in on some, webinars. One of them is a texting program that you can set up just so you text out to the community. This might be weather updates, might be meeting updates, might be election updates, tax bill updates, whatever it may be. There's also an option with that same program for people to text back. So you could, like Renaissance Festival, and it would take them to the Renaissance Festival. They basically how did he describe it?
Categorize.
Yeah, like take all the information that they can off your website and you can add it. So it's a texting back and forth, program. There was another one that we looked at, which is that GoGov, was it GoGov, Teresa?
GoGov, which is the app.
Yes, which is actually an app that people can interact with. Again, you can, from here in the office, you can send out notifications. So just like you would get notifications maybe from social media, it would provide an alert on their phone. We certainly know that traditional paper newsletters are an option, email newsletters are an option. I don't think either one of us brought this here today for anything to be agreed on, but more just to start having some of those discussions about which direction maybe that we might wanna take with how can we better communicate, with our community. Because it is a very small portion who are accessing our Facebook and an even smaller portion that are accessing our website, according to those stats we looked at.
Yeah, so each one of these things has some pros and cons,
Yeah.
of course. And there are both of these new, things that are technology based, the texting out or the app that people can download. They're both about $4,000 to $4,500 per year for, the annual fee. Emailing out newsletters, of course, is free, other than the time commitment for creating the listserv and Janelle and I have had some conversations like what format would reach the most people, because even the newspapers, of course, the Citizen doesn't reach people with a Holly mailing address, only the Ortonville mailing addresses, so that's half of our township. So there's that dilemma, but we also recognize that, the supervisor's changing as well, and so we didn't necessarily think that we needed to make this decision right today, but to start thinking about these different options and show you guys these so you can start looking at them. The other thing that is not listed here was Gov Delivery, which we currently have already, and I spent some time on the helpline with them, trying to figure out how do we enroll people, because evidently it was Dave Axe and then Shelley and now me that is the administrator to Gov Delivery. So every 90 days I get an email that says time to change your password, and I'm like, okay, and I just changed it. Not that I've done anything with it. So finally I'm like, what can I do with this? So I figured this out, and I went ahead and I enrolled my own personal email, and lo and behold, I get those things that say, Planning Commission update has been, you get an email that just says, you get an agenda, or you get the minutes, and, the treasurer's email was already getting all those, because it had been set up years ago, most likely. So that is another option, and really when I learned, they showed me how to download the whole database, there's like 1,500 people who are already subscribed to the Gov
Different
Delivery.
aspects of it.
Yeah, 1,500 people. Now, they may not all live here still, but there were names on there that I recognized. So, you know, they can at least get alerts about new minutes were posted, new agenda was posted. You know, anytime you post the minutes or the agendas, that's what gets emailed to people. So I think we already have that resource for getting that information out, which we just need to let people know that they can sign up for those alerts. So, you know, we do have some options, but I guess we were hoping to get some thoughts from the trustees and maybe even the audience. Cause I've actually been asking some people in the community, you know, like, do you feel like you get information? How do you get the information? And some of them were like, yeah, I'm fine, I don't need any information, you know, if I need something, I'll call.
Do you think the categories on the
What?
existing system are adequate enough for the topics that people
Um,
most likely ask?
There may be, I mean, I didn't explore all the different options
I mean,
because.
they really need to look at them and decide what
Yes.
they want.
They do, and they can opt into or out of the different things, but this Gov Delivery thing, it actually like lets people like get
What they
alerts
wanna
from the
receive.
Secretary of State or the state of Michigan, or, you know what I mean, like, it's more than just Groveland Township. So, I don't feel proficient enough with it yet that I should, you know, could explain it fully, but just Gov Delivery is another option, along with these, which, I mean, this is a totally new thing. One of them,
Yeah.
was it the app one, that once you can type it all in and then, you can post it to your Facebook page, you can send out an email, and you can post it on the app or send it out, I don't know what happens.
There's options to communicate.
Yes, there are, but one of the people that I spoke to specifically said to me, you need to make sure that you have the ability to do some analytics with it, like see how many people are actually signing up for it, how many people are using it, because you may find that you have only a handful of people using it, and if you're spending $4,000 a year to do that, and, you know, I mean, so there's mixed feelings, like, some people are like, you got it all out there on the website. People are accustomed to going to websites, but not all people are, as we heard Faye talk about, you know, people who are not as, comfortable with all the technology. So, it's just a discussion we're starting, with these different options, because, I mean, I like the email list out, that type up an email, or a newsletter, and then email it out to everybody, that's free, you don't have to mail it out. But some, you know, how do we make sure that everybody who wants information from us is getting it?
Why wouldn't we start with what we already have? I mean, find a way to get it out, put it on the sign, whatever it is, on our Facebook page, you know, spread the word. Use what we have and see what the feedback is. See how many people sign up, how many are interested, and then decide if we wanna pay for a service.
Sure. And we can start with a newsletter in the winter tax bill,
Okay. So let
because
them know.
we're already getting mailing those, but there are about 900 people who don't get a tax bill because their taxes are escrowed. So we would have to send them a separate mailing, but, I mean, that is a possibility if we decide to go that route and just sort of start out.
If the subjects
Give some
are enough to
ideas.
get them what they want on there, that's probably the easiest way to do it.
Well, it's
I
at
know we
least a
talked
gauge
about it
of
when we
if it's
first
worth
did
it.
it, yeah, it's just a matter of.
You're talking about Gov Delivery or for
I'm talking-
newsletter?
I'm talking about Gov Delivery.
Okay.
I'm talking about Gov Delivery that we already have in place because we already have it. Send a letter out, let people know this is what we're gonna try, this is our model, and let's see what we can get out of this, and how many people actually sign up, respond, you'll
Yeah.
get feedback if they can, you know, cause you can on Gov Delivery, you can email, you can text, you can work, through Facebook Messenger, so, yeah, why not? And isn't that the one that Oakland County uses,
Yeah.
that we get the road commission stuff from,
I think
and
so.
all of that, I believe that is who.
And they
Oakland County
they actually have a person that manages all that stuff within the road commission.
I'm sure they
Just, that's their only
I'll
job.
bet.
And, you know, so.
That was what was intriguing to me, that you could say pothole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, So
Okay.
we can take a deeper dive into gov delivery and then, come
from
back
there.
with some further information.
The problem is that no matter when we do some of these things, you know, we do videos and we do meetings and we do a lot of things. At some point in time, the original people that heard about it either didn't think they needed it or moved or forgot or changed their mind. And then the new people don't always know who to ask. And so I think there's plenty of vehicles available to find out what's going on. But some people just, as I can tell you from the emails I got this morning, just like to take something they got on the internet and say it must be true.
Right. Well, I think that can start with a really good welcome
Yeah.
packet too, because people
Yeah.
have to come in here when
It
they
would be.
leave.
I mean, you know, we made those little cards, you
Yeah.
get people all places, you get the videos, we could redo something like that.
Well, we have a
Look it up
welcome
now.
packet for it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a packet for it.
So we
Put
should
it in
just
there.
add
Add
gov
that on.
delivery to
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
Teresa, with gov delivery, whether the administrator has the ability to write a blanket email, I assume, about something.
I think the problem is you don't actually get into any of those systems till you go and look at what they have and then select, oh, I wanna know, let's say I wanted to know about the EPA or the MPSC, and you click that, then you'll start getting notices on it. So the problem, that's how I believe it works, you have to
Right.
We have to
look at
request.
the lengthy list of subjects they have and decide which ones you want. Cause we did this when we started it originally, Dave first brought it in, I think, or something. And it's just that it probably would help to put it in the welcoming package to tell people and then,
With a step-by-step guide on how to do it.
yeah,
and
'cause
how it's specifically
otherwise they'll just say,
all
I
that
didn't,
stuff.
you know, I didn't know it.
What do you
Yeah,
want to
I
know?
didn't
Right.
Right,
Well, they've got a decent website, everybody, so, yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, it's
yeah.
good.
And the person that I spoke with when I called their 800 number, spoke pretty good English, so.
Hello, I'm from Utah. Yes, right, okay.
So we can, we'll look deeper into that then, and then we'll just, you know, these are just informational FYI things, but we can start there.
I think that's a great idea,
Yeah,
Teresa.
no, it's good.
Okay.
Next item is discuss professional development, and I think this is yours, Janelle.
I mean, it's mine, Teresa's, Gina's, Danielle's, it really is just a number of
Classes.
professional development classes that people will be attending over the next couple of months. This first one is me and Laura, that's just a regular luncheon, that one I didn't probably didn't include in there. The MTA workshop, Gina and Teresa are gonna go to, that's on emerging issues and emergency services. I think they were hoping to get some good information since they'll be transitioning to the new fire chief. The MTA one, this is just, it's just shooting up north to Frankenmuth for the day, but Danielle was also interested in going to this. Part of the reason I was looking forward to this is navigating transitions. So when we have, people moving out and new people moving in, how to kind of navigate that, you know, effectively and smoothly. So that is, what I was really looking forward to for that particular, conference. And Danielle wanted to check into a couple of those other ones regarding planning commission and that. And then just the last one is, Member Education Day. This is for the Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks. This is, one day, but I would like, if possible, so this would be for both Laura and myself, this is when they kind of give you the okay. There's a summary of the August election, this is what we need to plan for and improve for November election and yada yada. I would request, that the board would support us, and Laura has said she's okay with sharing a room with me. Us going up the night before, because it does start pretty early in the morning on the 28th. So if possible, I would, motion that we, and this would be out of Clerks Development, approve our attending the Member Education Day with our lodging and mileage reimbursed, paid for.
So you got quite a few different
Right.
things in those various announcements. You just officially asking for
I
the
guess
third
we
one
can
for you
put-
and Laura?
I mean, these are all-
Separate or?
We could do them all.
I don't care, I just wanna make sure we get
Let's
what
do
you
them.
need done.
Alright, So I would, motion that we approve all of the professional development opportunities as submitted here, with the addition of lodging on August 27th and mileage reimbursement for all of these conferences and meals as required. I think all of them actually have a lunch or something included though.
We still gotta eat if you're gonna do it.
Oh yeah, I guess that might be helpful for me, thank you, maybe a dinner for me, Laura, when we get up there.
If you don't, you eat the steering wheel on the way home. That's the problem.
Right,
Okay.
like, Laura Mark started eating my
I'll
arm.
second that.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board? If not, Laura, would you take a roll call, because all of it together is nice.
Gina Rizzarelli,
Yes.
Robert DePalma.
Yes.
Janelle Keller.
Yes.
Teresa Bills.
Yes.
Jim Christopher.
Yes.
Okay. This next item, is discuss wage trim planner. I'm not sure why we have this here. Danielle, I think, was just trying to be safe and tell all of us that she had received some preliminary pricing from the new planner. As you know, our old planner used to be really good, then when Ben passed away, it got really, really bad. And then when Liz got on, it got good again, but the damage had been done. The planning commission wanted somebody new. They unanimously wanted weight trim. And so I don't really think this needs any action from us. I said it looked good to me, just go ahead. And I think Danielle's just trying to make sure she let everybody know that she has it from the new planner. Seems to be very well liked by everybody that saw it here. Okay, so I think that's just an FYI information, actually. Next we move to miscellaneous. So we got Holly, area youth assistance.
The Blessings in a Backpack is going on. It's now going to be called Food for Kids. They're gonna be doing a golf fundraiser. The school supplies program is now going on, and the due date is August 19th, so for any families in need of school supplies. They have a holidays parade on the 7th at 11 a.m. And they have Family Fun Day at Crapo Park on September 7th from 12 to 4. So they have a bunch of games and popcorn and stuff. There are a number of other events too for the Veterans Center. So if anybody is interested, contact us, because they do have a number of things going on over the next month or so. I'm just keeping that nice word.
Okay, thank you. Teresa, BTY.
Yep, Brandon Groveland Youth, they have their, meeting tomorrow. It is gonna be their annual picnic at Crossman Park. Lots of things going on, but basically, their website is updated and, I'm sorry,
I know, it's getting late.
yeah. So they just finished the summer steps and stories, and Miss Frame took all the 26 kids shopping for shoes the Eastern Stars paid for, and, so that, Bob MacArthur accompanied her, and we saw some photos. They looked like they were having a wonderful time. So that is one of the most popular programs that the BGYA does through the library. And they have a bike donation, that they're going to give away a couple of bikes during Septemberfest for ages 10 through 12 year olds. That's pretty much it, and we just gave them $2,500 today, so they'll be continuing to do their
Good stuff.
wonderful stuff.
Thank you. Okay, planning commission, Jim?
The planning commission met at the end of last month. There were 3 topics discussed. One was to augment the use permit for rotten matter from 1 year to 3 years. That was unanimously passed. The second was to discuss and give permission to the Michigan Renaissance Festival about starting an hour early. And that is in anticipation of bad things happening on the roadway because of I-75 traffic, and the board granted that permission as well. And then the last topic was to discuss the battery storage facility, but in light of the proposed ordinance. That was tabled. There was some dialogue about what we wanted. There was a great deal of community discussion on it. And as I said, that was tabled there's a special steering committee, I believe, tomorrow. Is that what I heard? And then there was to be community outreach, I believe, on Wednesday, and now I hear that that's tabled for a little bit. So, in any event, that's what we talked about, the planning commission.
Okay, thank you, Jim. ZBA, Jean?
There will be, no meeting this month, but there will be next month. But I would also like to take this time to say, the Parks and Rec gave us the map for the glyphosate spraying to happen in September, and it is, once again, every single solitary road in Groveland Township, which we know that does not happen. So I have been communicating, with someone from Parks and Rec to find out finally today that it is still the road commission who is doing the process, and you need to reach out to them. Vinny is posting both the map and that information on how to contact them if you do not want that to happen in front of your home. We have a lot of we have families who do organic farms out here, and they do not want the spraying, in their water table. I don't either, farm or not, but yes, Vinny.
That map it did not come through. If you could
Okay.
send it again, I already posted the other stuff, but I'll add that.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Gina, because you are an excellent dog with a bone on something like this. Because you feel passionately about it.
I don't even get me started, I'm like,
No, I meant to compliment you.
I know.
Okay, for the supervisor, we finally got the 50 grand from Oakland County's economic development. We're the first to get the money that came down last November. They haven't assigned a penny of it until this. And I just confirmed this morning from Tom Z that the check came in while I was on vacation last week. So the moral of that story is I need to go on vacation more, to get money freedom. So I do have a meeting, Tom's calling me tomorrow afternoon so we can get started on the marketing part of this. So finally we got that, and that's good, and we're the first, and as far as I know, the only ones that have gotten any of the money. They actually made it easy for us because Tom Z has done so many events at the park with the county. He's listed with them, so they said instead of sending a check to us and then we cut him a check, they just sent it right to him, so it made it easy for us all the way around. I also had a discussion this morning with the realtor. Tentatively, in the next day or two, I should meet with him and Barry. We want to try and finish up. I need to get the platform that Barry's going to put by the entrance to the Task Force 1 building, so I can get Wardeen to start doing the design for our entry point. And the realtor wants to put one of his signs up at the sign too, so hopefully the next couple of days we get that done, and we'll be meeting with Barry. He is back from Florida, so those are the three things that are kind of percolating right now. Finally, might get them through. That's it for me for today.
Okay.
Janelle, anything else you want to
The
do?
election's over. Yay. The new election cycle begins on Wednesday.
She says with overwhelming enthusiasm, right?
No, the election went very well. You know, we still didn't have a great turnout. I would say it was not a great turnout.
Plus, Springfield was low too, they said.
Yeah, it's disappointing, you know, but, I mean, I think, what did I tell you? 25%, somewhere around there?
Really?
Somewhere around there.
Usually we get like 40.
Yeah, we had 40.
It was pretty
45%
disappointing,
in 2020.
so, I mean, 2020, everybody pretty much got the balance their way, so I think that one, you know, probably contributed to some of it, but, anyway, so moving on to the next election. NOHA's last date is September 14th. Are you two still gonna go down there with a load of
That's plenty.
goods?
Yeah, we need a truck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we do,
because
we have a
the
lot of
room downstairs,
batteries,
the
everybody's,
AV room.
yes.
Oh,
We're
that's,
gonna-
I noticed somebody must have dropped a box of batteries off.
Yes,
I saw it this
outside.
morning when I walked
I
in.
did too, I'm pretty sure it's still sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be taking all those too.
Yeah, we have little battery
Everything
piles
has it.
everywhere. You guys, I think, already got this, but I thought I would bring it up anyway. You probably got the email from MTA, regarding their, legislative policy platform, the questionnaire, just to provide input on opinions of policy. Did you guys get that? I don't know, I just wanted to remind everybody to make sure you
It
did that.
came in, it was in my email.
Okay. Just the that checklist that we've talked about the last few months. The exterior of the building was partially washed.
Never came back, did
I have never heard anything, so we got it washed, but.
we didn't pay for it yet,
Pay
right?
for it.
Okay, I still got the little cheat sheet you gave me to talk to them,
We
they
didn't
never
hear
showed
from
up.
them. They didn't finish, so they were gonna come back and I never heard from them. The roof, if you recall, when we approved that bid, there were some questions about our status, the current status of the roof. And
Does
our
need to be
building,
changed.
yeah, our building inspector did say that it was looking pretty bad. We should probably have some bids.
If you look at the caps on the west side of the roof, they're all pulling up, so.
Yep.
We have, if anybody noticed today, some lovely landscaping that's been completed.
Yeah, the black stuff looks good in there.
It does.
I like that.
They're not done. I also have no idea what was used because it was over the weekend.
Yeah, they weren't here on Friday. They didn't come Thursday, they didn't come Friday.
What do you mean, what was used?
I
It's wood
don't
chips
think
from
it-
Barry's, isn't it?
Oh, no, the wood chips are fine. It was
Yeah.
The
the
weed,
rest of
It
it.
was,
weed agent.
It was the weed agent that he was expressively told what he could use,
Oh.
because the well's right there.
Yeah.
So, and he was supposed to be here on Thursday. If he came, it was
He did
after
not
hours.
come. Yeah, it would have been
So.
after we closed.
Yeah,
Well, we need to ask before we cut a check.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It
I
does
wanna
look
see the
very
empty bottle.
nice. Does look very nice. Just HR related, the Supreme Court did pass some new laws regarding minimum wage, which I don't think we need to worry about. I think we're still fine, but there are some new paid leave benefits that I have to kind of learn about a little bit still, so that's new on my agenda. And then the last one, if y'all recall, within the last couple weeks, there was that IT outage and cybersecurity issue. Accident fund, so two things that we are connected with, accident fund and Unum both were impacted. But so far, we have, nothing on our end has been affected. But I just want to tell you that those were involved.
Sometimes there's a benefit to not having a mailing address, Grove,
Yeah.
they don't know we're here. That's one of the cases where it's better.
That's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Teresa?
Sure, so last month we had the July board of review, and at the July board of review, 4 poverty exemptions were approved. And the only other thing is, collecting taxes right now, the last day of taxes can be paid is usually September 14th, but this year that's on a Saturday. So we are taking payments through the end of the day, Monday, the 16th of September. That's it.
Okay, at that point, we'll open it up to public comment.
We're keeping you at the 3 minutes though.
I'll be quick.
Sure.
Did we get a chance to send a request for statistics to MSP?
No, I'm waiting for the sheriff's office to give us the answers to the questions you had asked them, and we never got anything from them either.
Okay. I still feel really strongly.
Well, I'll ask him, I just wanna see what the reason I'm waiting is, the sheriff does this every time I meet him. Says, we gotta get together because we're doing a bunch of runs. And I said, okay, well, give me some. He never does. He never does in 28 years. So, I want the data so we can see if we can get
I
comfortable.
have asked Greg Glover twice, and both times he said he would have it shortly. I don't think it's appropriate to ask again, it somewhat proves your question, proves your statement, so, but I am.
Yeah, I don't think that should preclude us, whatever the sheriff's doing or not doing.
I've had the sheriff, I've had the state police's data before, but I'm kind of frustrated at the sheriff constantly saying, we do all this, and when we say, well, give me something and I'll look into it, and he never, in 28 years, does it. So when
But I
he gives
think-
us that, I will try and get a
But I think
comparable set of data.
the board in general should know what is going on in the community from the primary law enforcement provider, which would be MSP. And I gave, very specific questions to ask, so you make sure you're getting the good data. Janelle, you reached out and talked about the microdata on the MSP portal. That's not sufficient. It won't give you the whole picture, it won't give you everything.
I saved all your notes, I have them.
Okay. And I think it should be provided monthly to the board, or at a minimum quarterly. Similar to what the chief provides, fire chief.
Okay.
And I believe, because I've had great response from MSP personally, that it's probably good data, and it's probably not concerned, but until you see the data.
It's just very frustrating when you go to a meeting and he ends up always throwing out, I have all these runs to you, we're gonna have to talk about that. Okay, let me know. Never, ever in 28 years has gotten back to me.
You know, I'm gonna circumvent Fred, I'm in agreement,
I'm happy to ask them for the data, I wanna make sure it's the same kind of
I would
data
like to see
and
it.
comparable,
Once
and
it's-
I would like to see what it is they actually say happens, cause we have talked about looking at the sheriff's contracts at least 4 or 5 times. The issue's been, there's never been more than a handful of people that wanted to talk about it. And all they ever had to do, if they really wanted it, was put a petition out on the township board, and when you get enough signatures, it'll be on a ballot.
I don't think anybody wants more taxes, none of us want more taxes.
Well, and
And we probably don't need it until we see what's taking place within our community.
okay.
Cause you wanna put the cart before the horse and put a notice out there for, get sheriff in here when you haven't looked at your current, response, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, if not, motion to adjourn is in order.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Chief, reconvene, we're all here. Fire board meeting is yours.
Everybody came to see me.
Yep.
Okay, we had 97 calls for the month of July. Last year we had 84 calls, the year before that 86, 88. So we're usually in the 80s, so it's a little bit busier. We had 538 calls. Well, I don't think that number, that's for 2023. We're currently at 668. We ended last month with 629, so we're already at 39 calls for the month, just 12 days in, so it's tracking again.
Anything, abnormal or any pattern or anything you see out of any of it?
No, nothing unusual, not, it's always the same things, I mean, it's not like we had more trees down this time, or ice or anything like that, it's just, same kind of calls all the time. Nothing to indicate why we're busier, I guess that's the best way to say it. I think I told you this before, but ladder 1 failed the ladder test. And we've dropped it off, I think 2 weeks ago at Apollo. It's for the excessive drift in that cylinder again, and so they're looking into it. We got it repaired and we got it back last November, so they'll probably come up with some reason why it's not.
I know, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
Is it
should we
like
get a
warranty?
warranty?
Yeah, it should be, but I'm sure they'll come up with some reason like, oh, you put the left-hand screw in instead of the right-hand screw or something, but. All of our ground ladders passed when we had the ladder test also. I'd like the motion to hire Jennifer Settle. She's an EMT to the auxiliary team. Story behind, we're trying to get her in so that maybe she'll spark her interest into joining the fire department / EMT side, but there's some hesitation to do that, so we're gonna like to hire onto the auxiliary team, so get some interest into it. Jennifer Settle.
So do you want?
Is this someone you know?
Yes, she is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Guess that's your last name. Sorry.
It's not her.
No, it's not.
And she works with her.
Well, I was like, I don't know. So you work with her? Yes. Right now?
You want a motion?
Please hire her onto the auxiliary team.
Right, I'll make a motion that we hire Jennifer Settle to the EMT auxiliary team.
Support.
Questions or comments from the board? Laura, would you take the roll call?
Jim Christopher.
Yes.
Tina Mazzarelli.
Yes.
Robert DePalma.
Yes.
Janelle Keller.
Yes.
Teresa Bills.
Yes.
Yeah, another one is, I'd like to hire Jordan Accord. He's from Groveland Township. He lives right at Barron in, Perryville. He used to be an EMT. He let it lapse. But, he says he's gonna stay in the community and, he'd like to join the fire department. So we'd like to hire him as a paid on call, untrained firefighter at this time.
I want to make a motion for that.
I will make a motion that we hire Jordan Acord as a paid-on-call firefighter.
Second.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Laura, can you take the roll call for that?
Janelle Keller.
Yes.
Teresa Bills.
Yes.
Jim Christopher.
Yes.
Tina Mazzarelli.
Yes.
Robert DePalma.
Yes.
And Last item is, in July, for personal reasons, I decided I was gonna retire. So on July 30th, I put in for my retirement, and, it's been approved. And, in the interim, until, the board decides what they wanna do to replace me, obviously, Captain Williams will be filling in. I don't know if we need to appoint him to that position, or
Acting chief.
acting chief. I don't remember what we did.
John, you agree with this?
I wasn't, I was gonna voluntold him, but.
Yeah.
You're doing it, or?
You're smiling, so I guess you're okay with it, right? Okay.
Obviously, in the past, we've always hired from within, and, I'm sure Captain Williams would do a fine job if he's the one chosen, but I know some of the board members have talked about opening it up, and, timing is not convenient, I understand, you know, with the new supervisor coming in, but, Janelle and I talked today a little briefly about if you do wanna open it up to, I think we said, open it up in October for the month and then decide in November. I mean, we're spitballing. That was just a recommendation, so, I mean, I don't know what you wanna do, but, in the interim, you know, Captain Williams is, you know, filling for my spot, and, I am always available. I've told them, I've taught, Roscoe how to do the payroll portion of it, and some of the reports that I was doing, so, I mean, it was a lot, you know, it was more like, excuse the pun, but he was drinking out of the fire hose when I was showing him how to do it, but, I'll come in for the next few paydays, cause obviously no one wants their payroll screwed up, so, I'll come in for the next few paydays and make sure that he's got that down pat, and then, the other things are like bills. I mean, Captain Williams, you know, that's fairly simple, but.
So really, we need to appoint Captain Williams as acting chief.
Can I hold up?
Yeah, can I clarify when you're effective?
My effective retirement date is September 1st,
Thank you.
but with my vacation and comp time, today is pretty much it. Now, if something comes up where I mean, I'll be available, but I'm not planning on working any more days.
Is a motion needed for John?
Yeah, I think we should.
I'm happy to make the motion that John become the interim, if that's the right language, fire chief here. Assume effective immediately.
I will second that motion.
Okay, are there any questions or comments from the board?
My question is, does that affect John's pay? I mean, is this a pay raise? Is he doing it for the same money he's currently making? Is this,
Good question.
need to have clarification on that.
When I became the assistant chief, there was a pay raise, and then when McGee left, there was, I think, of course, he was on maternal leave too, but I just was the assistant chief for, I think, a month when he was gone, but, I mean, that was just for 1 month. This could be several months, so. So I don't,
I'm not trying to shortchange you, but I'm just telling you, at AT&T, when you get promoted, you do it for a while, and we'll let you know if you're okay. I'm just saying, that's how they do it there. And in my case, I got promoted and it cost me $200,000.
I would like to see the interim for, a longer term. So I would definitely, there would be a pay commensurate with that.
Well, and, I mean, it sounds like you will be filling in those responsibilities these next couple weeks. I'm just asking because obviously it would be easy if September 1 is like when he's officially, cause that would be an easy change of pay, cause you'd be out, he'd be in. But if he's moving along now, that might look different.
Well, I think we need to be very, very clear
I
on
do
the
too.
pay expectation
Correct.
before we change, and I mean, I am supportive of John taking the, position of interim chief and, acting chief, with the understanding that we are eventually gonna probably post it, and we will be, I mean, obviously John would be allowed to interview for it, and so on and so forth.
He may decide he doesn't want it.
Well,
I can vouch for that.
and I want there to be, you know, like, it has to be a simple process in terms of, if you take this and you move up, or you become the acting chief, that does entail more responsibility, right? So, I mean, I would think that we would have to come up with something that we could do to compensate, at least, on a temporary basis, with the understanding that if John chose to apply for chief when we open it up, then he obviously would be considered for that, as along with anybody else who would wanna be considered. But if you chose not to, that you would still be able to continue back in the same position that you vacated, and that position isn't gonna disappear. Like, I don't wanna see that, right, you know, no, it's not gonna affect anybody else's position, I guess is my, so in the meantime, so you're gonna step down, John would step up and be the acting chief. That leaves 4 full-time people, so we're not talking about bringing in another full-time firefighter in the meantime.
Not until you decide on the chief's position.
Correct.
Now, we have talked about adding a 6th person, just because the availability is just getting terrible, and as you know, I filled a lot of vacant shifts, just because for coverage, you know,
Sure.
obviously I'm not gonna be there now, so it's something that we've talked about. If you think about it, the difference would be, you know, retirement funding and healthcare benefits. So the current budget, I think, could support one more person for that little bit of additional money, but, I mean, all the other departments, you know, Knoxville and everywhere else, they're all transitioning to full-time departments because you just can't get coverage. So it's something we talked about coming up, this probably something we're gonna wanna look more into, and can the budget support it for now, things like that. So it's, I mean, it's just the way that everything's going anymore, and our guys aren't paid, more than anybody else in the area. They're under what everybody else is being paid. We're trying to keep pace with them, but, you know, it's one of those things like, well, I'll give you this much more, and I'll give, and we're stealing from each other all the time, so
Sure.
we get a lot of people in, and then they get, you know, certified, get some experience, and then, you know, Shelby snatches them up, or Independence, or somebody else.
So that's pretty much always been the case.
Yeah, so, I try to tell the people is like, we're not as busy as Shelby, so you're not going on 10 calls a day. So, I mean, you gotta take that into account too, so we do have a lot of collateral duties for everybody, because there's so few people to take up those jobs, so. I mean, it's you know, most of us like staying in the community, taking care of the community, so that's, you know, why we stay here. Like when I hired in, I told Bob, and Steve, I was like, I'm here for this department, I'm not going anywhere else, I'm not using this as a stepping stone to go to a bigger department. It was just like, this is where I wanted to stay, like I told Bob before. I joined the Marines, I didn't join the Army, so this, you know, was the same thing. By the way, I did 22 and a half years in the Marines, I did 22 and a half years here, so it's kind of poetic that it ends up.
Sure.
I don't know what the as far as pay is, when I was still active, I was the assistant chief, nothing changed until Steve officially retired, so in that case, I would say you got a couple weeks.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
And we should have on the September agenda, are we going to put you were helping to write
I already
job, okay. We should have that on the agenda, we're gonna put on a job ad, do that on the September board meeting. And then we can decide if, I'm amenable to whatever the rest of the board wants to do.
So have a conversation about compensation after he's officially retired, making perhaps some additional compensation as of September
Yeah.
1st or 2nd, whichever day.
Does that seem
Set.
reasonable?
Okay, that will give us enough time to have some conversations, to take a look at things. And because because, you know, it might take a few months to get a new chief, right? And so in the meantime,
And if it goes for an extended period of time, you should have something for doing.
absolutely.
Oh, for sure, well,
Yeah.
even a couple extra weeks.
Right.
See,
That's what I'm thinking.
More than just, I mean, that's in a lot of
I'd
initial
love to see you
responsibility.
guys working at AT&T, cause they don't think like that. at
Well, you're
all.
right, I don't
You
think
can-
AT&T
You can be
does.
boss for a while, then we'll decide if we like what you did, then we'll give you a 5% raise and you'll make 20 grand a year less. That's how
It's
they
the
do
same way,
it.
but I don't agree with that.
Is AT&T still in business, Mike?
Well.
You know, it's not the same company anymore, right? It's not the same company. I didn't say I agreed with it, I'm just saying that's how it was.
Well, you will be very missed,
Okay, thank you.
and I am very happy that you're able to do what you want to do, that you set yourself up and are able to do that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And
Yeah.
Very much.
Kevin, you can come
Well,
up
we
here.
haven't finished yet, we have to
Oh.
make the motion, we have to settle this
Okay.
whole John
Make
thing
it.
first.
Okay, make it.
But to me, it's important that we have some clear parameters. If we're gonna make the motion to have John Williams, as the interim chief, and on September first, when Chief Mason leaves, we will come back on September 9th at our board meeting, and we will discuss like
Pay your raise.
whatever compensation
Effective
difference.
September 1.
So for the time being, moving up tomorrow through September first, you're good with just taking on those additional responsibilities and maintaining the same rate of pay, with the idea that starting September first and on, there will be some additional compensation for acting chief. Okay, so then,
And that September 9th would be kind of perfect time to get the September 15th pay.
yes, because it's still in that pay
Yeah, nothing
period.
to do, right?
Yeah.
And so
So
we
it would
can do
essentially
that.
mean, yeah, like she said, it'd be the same until you have officially retired.
Right.
And then those next couple weeks, we can get on the 15th, the
Yeah.
paycheck on the 15th.
For sure. Okay, I will make a motion that we, have, what's the word? That's not promote, do we utilize John Williams as the
That we
interim
appoint
chief?
John as interim chief.
Appoint, thank you, that we appoint John Williams as the interim chief, until such a time as a new chief is hired, whoever that new chief may be, with additional compensation to be discussed and applied for the pay period starting with the September 15th payroll. Okay?
Is that a sec, is there a second to that?
There's a second to that.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the board?
I have a quick comment, just that you have a fire department that supports you,
Yes.
and that's nice to see.
Laura, would you take a roll call?
Gina Mazzarelli.
Yes.
Robert DePalma.
Yes,
Janelle Keller.
Yes.
Teresa Bellis.
Yes.
Jim Christopher.
Yes,
thank you, John.
Yes, thank you.
thank you, John.
Taking it on, and it's not done like that, sure. Now, Kevin, because you did this last minute, and I was gone all week, so you have to come up here and give this in, okay? I had to,
Stand in front of the camera.
I had to, go pick this up this afternoon.
Oh, that's pretty.
Okay? Out of everybody I've ever worked with, you have my respect. More than I can tell you. This says, Groveland Township congratulates Kevin Mason, Fire Chief, for 22 years of service. The support, dedication, and camaraderie you brought to this township and your crew is commendable beyond words. The endless hours of service you provided goes above and beyond the duties of a fire chief. And I don't think anybody, so maybe the firefighters here, realize how much this guy has done over and above what he was ever paid for. Groveland Township thanks you for your hard work, knowledge, humor, and you brought to us every day, because we actually look forward to you coming in.
Except Danielle.
No, every one of us, you will be dearly missed, so thank you, Kevin. And I mean, I think you're a hell of a guy and a super chief, and when I'm sick, this is the only guy I really like to call to take care of me, because I trust his evaluation. Thank you. We're out of time.
That was the last photo.
Thanks. When you get back from your trip in the mountains, we'll get together. Okay?
You would flash
Okay, if there's no questions.
Any questions from, public comment?
Yeah, any
Fire
public
board?
comment or questions? Okay.
Make a motion that we adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I support.
All in favor? All right.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.